I revisited it thinking of my grandfather. He's sort of become this like theme that, he's the one thing I can't get out of me.
Song cake.
We're going to have a little Q&A now. You're going to answer the questions. Please, what's your question? Sorry.
I've had the opportunity to meet you a few times, but I've never had a chance to tell you thank you for the music. I can't imagine growing up without this music in my life, and it's really had an impact on me. Good and bad in life, Coheed's always been one constant, so I just want to say thank you, Claudio. So you I'm a bit nervous there. So you mentioned earlier that you grew up in Coheed, and I speak for all of us. We all grew up with Coheed. You've got a son now who's also grown up in the world of Coheed&CAMBRIA. So I'm curious, from your point of view, how is Coheed&CAMBRIA affected Atlas growing up? Like, how has it impacted him growing up in this crazy world of all these fans? And has he indicated to you if he's going to follow you into the world of music at some point?
You know, he's, and he's not the only child of the fence, if you will, right? But all of them, I think they've got such a different experience. You know, when we tour in the summers, the kids are out with us, and you know, it's something that I'd never experienced. All the traveling that he does. He plays music. He and Rory, Travis's son, they play music together. Will they do it? You know, it's really tough for me to say. Like, I just want him to have fun right now, you know, and I just want the best for him, and whatever makes him happy, I'm so excited for. And I think coming out on the road with Coheed gets him excited. He gets so into, like, even the songs that we do in the meet and greets. Like, right now we were playing the Misfits, Skulls, and, like, he's become a fan of that song. So we're, like, introducing him to things in, like, kind of unique ways, the kids, and I just want him to enjoy it, and until he doesn't, you know.
Does he like the song you wrote about him?
You know what?
What did you think of that?
So Color Before the Sun, I wrote when Atlas was, you know, like a toddler.
He was little, wasn't he?
Yeah, so there's like footage of me playing songs like Eraser while he's in the crib, and like he's interacting with it. But The Color Before the Sun hasn't really spoken to him yet as a record. And I think my wife just recently showed him Atlas while I was away. I think he knows it, but like me, he sort of shies away from the song.
Yeah. It's a great song. I love that song. Yeah. The Gentleman there in the Cap. What's the best Coheed album?
I would also go for The Afterman as well. Gravity's Union, I think, is one of my favourite songs.
I tried to get that on the show, to be honest. I love Gravity's Union. It's one of my favorites.
We went back and forth like you wouldn't believe.
What I think a lot of Coheed fans love is that you're a storyteller, and that goes across different mediums. What is your process when taking a story that's told in like a musical form and adapting that into a comic? And has that affected you as a storyteller musically back in turn?
You know, typically, yeah, things will start with the music. It's never about a one-to-one, if that makes any sense. It's always like, you know, again, the songs really have a place in my life that resonates in a very different way than it does in the comics. So it's like, you know, there are bits and pieces of it that I will like take and I will put into the story. For example, like, and I hope this is answering the question. So like Gravity's Union is a good example. The character Cyrus Amory is loosely based after my grandfather. He's the guy that bought the Amory house that I grew up in. And so he experienced these things that we didn't talk very much about. He watched the death of his son, which was a car accident, and he lost his wife and lived a life without her for like 40 years. So I would take these things and I would write these songs that, you know, somehow that car accident that he experienced and the way they talked about it as a family has definitely affected me because I barely drive. Like I have a fear of driving. Like I'll do it, but I don't like doing it with passengers knowing that. For a song like Gravity's Union, that's got those experiences in it personally, but then I'll take it and I'll base the character Cyrus after my grandfather. I put the car accident in the story, but instead of making it about his son, I made it about his pregnant wife, you know, and things like that. So there are like these connections that are there that speak true to me, but allow themselves to live away from me and on their own. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You got it.
Anybody else?
Good question.
Mr. Halloween? I love Halloween. There's no slight there, sir. I want out.
I went to see him last night.
Well, I don't like them that much.
Halloween, the Dr. Steen band. Is that Halloween? Dr.
No,
Steen?
they're German.
Oh,
German, yeah.
I want out. That was the big banger.
Didn't they have a song called Dr. Steen or Dr. Stein?
They've done like 30 albums.
Would you like to stand up if you can? What's your favourite COHEED album?
It's got to be the Good Apollo double album. I think you might have been talking about me earlier when you said that people have sang your songs at their wedding.
Right on.
I wanted to ask, because obviously you've been in this band for a
Hold on, sorry. Which song at the wedding?
Wake Up, I sang for my wife at
my heart.
At my wedding, yeah.
Lovely.
But
Can I just ask, how did that go?
Yeah. Can you sing?
Well, you must have been nervous, right?
well, I'm actually a performer for a job. I'm a stand-up comedian for a job, but
really?
That doesn't mean you can sing.
no, that's 100% true.
I'm a carpenter. Let me fix your metal fence.
But yeah, it's weird because it was kind of me inserting a little bit too much of myself into the wedding, because she's actually not that big of a COHEED&CAMBRIA fan.
You must get that a lot.
So I was like, yeah, this is my favourite love song, and you're my favourite person. So you know, it was a nice thing. You know, you have different phases kind of creatively with songs. Are there any songs from the very early years that you've kind of fallen out of love with, or you think maybe there'd be something you'd want to change if you could go back, maybe some lyrics, maybe the tone of the piece, maybe that you didn't quite get right, possibly?
You know, that always happens, but for me, they all very much reflect a moment in time, and if I were to change them, they wouldn't. That being said, I would love to re-record Second Stage, and even In Keeping Secrets. Just because, you know, Second Stage, when we did that record, we did it as a collection of demos to get a record deal. And when that record deal came, they were like, okay, we're gonna put out the record. And we were like, we thought that was just to get the deal, you know. It was a surprise to us. That never got the real record treatment, if that makes any sense.
Well, Tool did Opiate again recently. I don't know if you heard that. They re-recorded Opiate, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you get a chance to do, I mean, Everything Eve would be the one I'd want to hear. Definitely.
Oh, me too. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, just to hear them now with the players that we are and the chemistry that we have, I would love to try it. Why not?
Yeah, what are you waiting for? Get on it.
I don't know. But that's the thing is, I'm always writing, so it's like, you know, right now I'm talking about potentially another record, you know, so.
He's got the musical, he's got the Cardiff song, he's a busy guy.
Yeah, the Cardiff song, right.
They're mainly my list, but still. Yeah.
What do you think about Taylor Swift re-recording all her stuff? I mean, that must have hit a nerve with you, right?
Well, she's not my favourite.
But she has so many love songs. Would anyone else like to answer the question? Do you want to pick? You pick one, Jace.
That was a very swift hand up, so I'm going to go with that one, sorry.
Well, I think my favourite album is also Good Apollo, probably. Okay. But my favourite song is Love is a Supremacy, I think. I've played that track so many times. Yeah. It's my top track on Last FM, so if anyone's going on my profile, you'll see that. I saw recently from the start of your tour when you were in Paris, obviously that's been important because it's where you came up with the idea that Amory was to your band. You mentioned that it's your favourite city. I think you were standing in front of the Sacré-Cœur, which is home of the prize in the story. And there's also sort of the guillotine image has been a big iconography.
Right.
I was kind of wondering what you find so inspiring about being in that city. Is it specific to Paris, to France, or do you find travel also inspiring? Because it was really interesting to hear that you write songs onto a song for every city, as you talked earlier.
Right. I think I find Paris so interesting to me is because it's the first real place I had ever been to. You know, when I talk about my son and all the traveling he's done, I mean, he's traveled so much, so extensively. The first trip I took, you know, was when I was 18 years old, and it was to Paris, and I stayed there for a month visiting a friend, and that's what made it so grand to me. You know, coming out of the subway system and seeing the architecture and just how different it was, it felt very alien to me, and that's why. So now it just has a special place just because of nostalgia, I guess, or just it reminds me of when I started this thing. To answer the other part of your question, I typically like to record at home, but it's become like this new thing where I'm writing more outside of that. Because yeah, maybe the climate is sort of helping inform what the feeling of the song might be. So I'm exploring that a lot more. Certainly did on the last record, wrote a couple of songs in Paris while I was there, Blindside, Mary of Mercy, and then, you know, I just have been, you know, why not? And there's so much downtime when we're out, might as well make use of it.
Thank you.
You got it.
Sorry for the interruption, but I just want to ask you to press subscribe if you like the show. Then we can make more. Simple. Right, back to the show.
Hey Sam, what's the album, Sam?
It's Good Apollo. It's the one I started with. So yeah.
Right on.
Got a very strong,
Very close to my heart too. Yeah. My first album. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for being here as well, Claudio. I think you know, it's a dream to have you talk about the songs in this way. Going back to the topic of demos. I wondered if you could take us through like a song that you remember changed the most from the inception, like the way you started it, all the way through to, you know, the recording, the production, and the final thing. Is there a song that you remember that changed?
Well, they all do, especially the older songs, because at that time I was only working with, you know, an acoustic guitar and a cassette 4-track, so it was really the skeleton of the song. But of recent, sort of that same thing has happened. So on the newest record, we did a song called Someone Who Can. And initially, I wrote that song with the idea that maybe I would put out like a solo record, right? I have this room in my house, there's a piano, and it's like a little library. And so I recorded all of the elements there, you know, piano, cajon, which is a box drum, acoustic guitar, vocals, background vocals shouting into the room with stereo mics up, and that's what that was. And so when it came time to making the record, I had about 30 songs, and I had given them to Zach Cervini, who was like my producer partner on the records, the past two, and I said, hey, if there's anything, here's 30 songs, these are what I think are gonna be on the album. If there's anything I'm like egregiously omitting, let me know and we can explore it. And he really liked that song. So that went from an acoustic, very bare bones performance to the song it became on the record, with like the electric guitars and the synth stuff and the atmosphere and the guitar soloing, you know, that 80s kind of vibe. So that changed dramatically. And you can hear both of those versions are like streaming, not to like sell that, but like you can hear the difference between like what it was initially and what it became. You got it.
Good question. My side. You, sir.
Favourite album? The last one is always the most favourite, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, right on. See, he knew what he was doing. Follow that man. What's your question?
Jason?
What was the first gig you attended to watch, and what do you remember of that?
What I intended to watch? Like where my
You went
first...
to watch a band rather than play.
Oh, my first concert?
Yeah.
Oh, Black Sabbath at the Beacon Theater with Ronnie. Yeah,
When
with
was that?
Ronnie James Dio fronting.
Wow.
You know, it was on the Dehumanizer tour. It might have been 1993 or 94. But I remember it was my friend Patrick. I brought him up earlier. Like Pat is, so when I bring this person up, he's the guy that got me into music. Like I didn't, you know, I mean, I was always into music, but the idea of playing in a band was very foreign to me. And this was a friend. We had a mutual interest because I had a Def Leppard shirt. He had a Cinderella back patch. Like middle school, like we connected. He was like, hey, you want to start a band? We started a band. And the first show we went to, I went with him. And I remember the two of us were sitting next to the two adult versions of ourselves. One of the guys' name was like Ray from Hell, and we deemed the other one Garth just because he felt like the sidekick. And they were losing their minds. And not even to Black Sabbath. Like Black Sabbath hadn't even started yet. It was like Exodus was opening, and they were the only guys standing up, and the people behind us were like yelling at them. But we were like totally into their energy because we were like next to him. But I just remember all of that show. I remember looking down because we were in the balcony, the way the lights were like sort of interacting with the band. Dio sang Sabbath at that time. Wow. Or Dio sang, he sang Ozzy, excuse me. He sang Ozzy Sabbath, which we later were lucky enough to tour with that band. But when they were called Heaven and Hell, and Dio wasn't singing Ozzy versions of Ozzy Sabbath. So, but when he did, he crushed it. Dio was awesome. And I didn't know much about Dio, aside from the Dehumanizer record. Like, I didn't know about Rainbow. I didn't know about, you know, the Dio project. I just went to see, because Sabbath, I wanted to see, like, you know, I wanted to see, my favorite Sabbath record is the first one. So I wanted to see The Wizard and like Sabbath and the opening song, and he did all that shit so well. He was so rad.
I would love to hear Dio singing The Wizard.
Oh wow. Man, he was crushing.
I mean, I
don't know if he did. I can't remember the actual set list. I guess we could go online and find that set list.
Let's do it now.
Played the harmonica.
Did he?
Oh, he did? Wow. Oh, then there you go, because it was...
He was the guy next to you.
Yeah, free from hell.
Exodus, bro.
Sit down.
What about you, Jason? What was your first gig?
Iron Maiden, Ipswich Regent, Our Slave album.
Oh shit! Right on, dude.
84.
I'm older than you. I went to see Bon Jovi at the Ipswich Gaumont, as it was called then, before the Regent.
It was the Gaumont when I went. Yeah, you're right.
On the Slippery When Wet tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you guys.
Showing our age.
I know.
Yeah.
We're old.
We're old.
My first gig was Motorhead.
Was it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Cardiff's Fire Gardens, which doesn't exist anymore. Another Cardiff gig. You could write a song about that. The Ace of Spades tour. I was about 12, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I was
right.
Campbell there.
Yeah, I was about 12.
I was 12.
Campbell there, was he?
I went to see the Jam.
Was Phil Campbell there?
No, it was the original lineup. It was Filthy Phil, Fast Eddie Campbell. It was that classic
He
lineup.
was probably in the audience there.
Oh, I'd imagine he was, yeah. No, yeah, Cardiff he probably was, yeah. No, it was a great gig. Anyway, enough of that. Then we lost like a question. Over here.
We've got 5 minutes left, so let's do a couple of quick ones.
Yeah.
My name is Rachel, and my favourite album is Good Apollo 1. I am in love with the Willing Well suite, so fantastic. Thank you very much for that. My question is, you've mentioned earlier how Cyrus Amory was based on your grandfather, but how Blindside Sonny was kind of developed kind of from thin air because you'd written a song about it. However, very recently we have had some new key entity extractions.
Right.
And I wondered of the 10 key entity extractions, if any of them relate to people in your life or people who you have had like interactions with, or if they are characters kind of for the sake of the story.
Right.
I was going to ask that question, mate.
That makes me feel really good. Thank you so much.
Like that.
I just said what's your favourite band?
Word for word.
Yeah. Good question.
That was a great question.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let's see.
Just say no and stop.
No. So there are a few. Yes, in my life, 2. One is just kind of random, and the other is based after my first movie experience. So in order, Melvin. The first horror movie I had ever seen was by accident. It was Toxic Avenger. Yeah. And I accidentally saw it, like I was sitting at the foot of the stairs. I was a kid. My dad rented it from the video store, turned it on, and I got up to the how much is a kid on a bicycle scene where the head gets run over, and I freaked out and ran. So I later saw the movie. I liked the character of Melvin, so I named the first entity after Melvin the Mop Boy. The other 2, these songs were actually kind of written without the entities in mind, but I kind of curated them to be. Yuko is based after a friend of ours, a family friend who was living with us for a while during the pandemic, who ended up moving back to Japan. My son was learning, like, just because of the interaction with her, he loved Yuko so much that he was learning Japanese. He spoke more Japanese than he did English, which was wild to me. So I kind of just named that after her because I love and respect Yuko so much, and I thought a character should be named after her. Peter the Wishing is after my grandfather. So funny story about that song is that's the song that informed Gravity's Union. So that song's as old as Afterman. I just kind of found it. So that's the first song I wrote on an 8-string baritone guitar, and I kind of abandoned it because I thought the themes were not working for me at the time, and then Gravity's Union came out of that. But I revisited it, thinking of my grandfather. He's sort of become this like theme that, he's the one thing I can't get out of me. But anyway, it reminded me of like, the last interaction. He used to sit at a window when we would drive away because he wanted us to live in the town that, he was spending the last years of his life in. And so I curated that song around those experiences. And then Shiloh is just, you know, was just a random kind of song I just wanted to name. Sorry.
Should we have one more question?
One more, yeah.
Do you want to pick one from over there, or you pick Jace? Because I don't be the bad man, and I am a bad man.
Oh, sorry.
Favourite album is In Keeping Secrets.
Oh, right on.
20 years ago, when I was 18, I got in my friend's car, and I'd never heard COHEED&CAMBRIA, and he put this bright green CD in, and Time Consumer came on. Then Devil in Jersey City, and I was like, what the fuck is this? 2 days later, it was my favourite song of all time, and I've never stopped listening, and it's been like 20 years now. I was just wondering, what's your equivalent? Did you have a band when you were that age that sort of grabbed you from the first time you heard them, and then 20 years later you'd be really excited to go see them?
Man, it's so tough. Like it's always changing for me. You know, I can't see Pink Floyd anymore, and and my first experience with that band was a show. You know, it was my second concert actually. It was Pink Floyd '94 on the Division Bell tour at Giant Stadium, and I didn't know who they were. So, and Roger wasn't in the band. Was lucky enough to see Roger perform Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall. I guess I'm gonna say them just because I've had some opportunity to see them. I don't know why nothing comes to mind. The bands that I'm into now are usually like singer-songwriter-esque, right? Like Phoebe Bridgers, Bon Iver, that new guitar player McGee, like stuff that feels lo-fi and small, like become the thing that I gravitate to more, because I feel like Coheed has allowed me to make the music I want to hear. So when I kind of step outside of it and hear things, you know, with the same sort of makeup, it doesn't hit me as the things that I get to create for myself that speaks to me directly. And now I know that doesn't answer your question because I'm gonna have to say Pink Floyd.
It's a good answer.
It's a solid answer.
I think they're going to be big.
Yeah. Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd. You've chosen well. It's fine. It's fine.
Have a big round of applause.
Go on, Chris.
Claudio. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Following the band for over 20 years, that's the first time I've seen anything like that.
Amazing. The breakdown of When You Were the Waking Mind, like the ending bit, was just like crushing. That's my favourite new moment.
It was really interesting to see how he deconstructed some of the songs actually. Like it's rare to have that experience with anybody that's kind of in this industry. So that was really awesome. It was nice to see more of a human side as well to his building of his songs.
So good to be able to sit so close to someone you've admired for so long.
Claudio get excited playing his own music, mixing it, blowing up at the parts he loves that I also love.
Dropped in all of the layers, it was absolutely phenomenal.